Arizona's 1st congressional district is one of the most competitive in this year's House election. With incumbent Representative Ann Kirkpatrick running for Senate, the open seat means the battleground district is up for grabs.
9 on Your Side sat down with the Republican and Democratic candidates. Jennifer Dela Cruz breaks down what issues they hope to tackle in Congress.
Geographically, it's the largest congressional district in the state. Stretching from the northeast border down to northern Pima County, District 1 is a battleground playing field. With 7 candidates in the race, the open seat district has a chance to land in the hands of a Republican. On the Republican side, Pinal County Sheriff Paul Babiou, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Wendy Rogers, former Arizona Secretary of State Ken Bennett, Navajo businessman Sean Redd, and Arizona cattleman Gary Keeney. For the Democrats, former state lawmaker Tom O'Halloran and former House staff member Miguel Olivas. One of the top priorities for the candidates in their district, getting the economy back on track.
We want to create an environment in which the trillions of dollars, that's with a T, that are offshore from U.S. companies comes back into the United States. And so we reduce the corporate taxes, not to protect billionaires, but to allow the investment into creation of jobs and the growth of our economy.
I employ several employees, and the oppressive regulation and taxation that mounts more every year is onerous and debilitative to job growth. So as a small business owner, my lean forward position is to have government out of the way more and more as much as possible.
We've got to get people back to work. We've got to get government out of the way so that businesses can grow and thrive and create more jobs and grow the wages of the jobs that they do have, so that people can be contributing and paying a little bit into the tax system instead of taking out all the time.
I grew up off the reservation. I understand those markets about as any well. I work on the reservation. I've done business on the reservation for 20 years, and yet I'm half Caucasian and I grew up off the reservation. I've done business in metropolitan areas as well. So I think that's what it is. You got to be prepared to travel this district, meet with your constituency, and understand the diversity.
The Democratic candidates are focusing on rebuilding within the district's underdeveloped communities.
Recognize the attributes of rural Arizona and try to maximize those attributes, not only for Arizona, but for rural America, and find a way to make sure that the jobs we currently have in rural Arizona are kept. Part of economic development always has been keeping jobs where they are.
About 75 to 80% of the 1st district is rural. They lack the infrastructure, and this is true across the country. Most communities lack the infrastructure, whether it be roads, buildings, dilapidated schools. They don't have the technology. We need to work on communications on and off the reservations in terms of building the communication systems.
What they can all agree on, developing a better education system.
And what I'd like to see happen is take block grants, is to take that money and give it back to the states and allow the state of Arizona and any other state proportionally divide that money and allow us to make those decisions, because I trust local decisions and local control far more than I ever would trust those in Washington.
There is a wide variety of educational opportunity in Arizona in particular, and I'm happy about that. I think it's up to the parents, the family, to decide what is best for their children, not the government.
What I'm going to work for is to make sure that the funding for and the authorization and the things that are needed to help make education better needs to happen at the state and local level and not be dictated to us by Washington.
You have to find a way, and this is where the federal government can play a role as long as they don't get into a regulatory issue, find a way to level this playing field so that all children in our state have the ability in the future to compete.
We can't just continue to educate children on arts and things of the old days. We need to focus education on the right education, meaning technology and math and jobs that will help children in the future. And that goes for higher education as well.
Jennifer Dela Cruz, KGUN-9 on Your Side.
Gary Keeney is also running for office but would not return our calls. We spoke to candidates about other issues, including immigration reform, health care, and Social Security.
And for their extended interviews, head to KGUN9.com.